and welcome. I am Exit Light, and this is my podcast. Hello, Rob. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Well, there you go then.
What have you been up to lately, Rob?
Oh, you know, surviving day by day, surviving out there in the concrete jungle that is Cornwall.
Yeah,
Trying my
it's
trying
rough
my
there.
hardest to keep my head above water.
Yeah,
And you know,
fighting off the gangs.
gang. We have a lot of old people gangs around. Elderly. We have elderly gangs, and yeah, see people at night fighting with the Zimmer frames. It's difficult. It's hard work. But someone's got to live here in this paradise that is Cornwall.
Okay.
I don't know why I said all that because it's absolutely not true. But there you go.
Well, we are doing a podcast at a time that I normally am not functioning, which is 8 a.m. my time. And what time is it there, Rob?
It's 2 o'clock on the
Still
dot.
normally not,
Actually,
probably not normally functioning at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, my time either. I am a true night owl. Um, but here I am, just for you, Rob.
thank you.
You're welcome. Have I told you that there is a dove that sits on my balcony every day from spring till fall? He just sits
You
there and
talking to me
stares
or
at
you
me.
talking to the audience? You
I'm
haven't told
talking.
me that, no.
I'm telling you. Yes, he
Okay, thank
just
you.
sits
No.
there, and stares at me. And because usually, actually, I am kind of usually awake about right now. I haven't gone to bed yet. I'm still awake, and so I see him out there, and he's really fat, and he's sitting out there listening to me right now. Anyway, that's how I know it's spring. It's when my dove comes. Perhaps we should start this over.
Why?
Just I'm in a strange mood today, Rob.
Okay, well let's crack on then. You
Okay,
know, every
let's crack
every
on.
journey starts with a single step.
This is true. Okay, for those of you who have never been here before and you are finding yourself here for some reason, thank you for staying. And if you continue to stay and you'd like to, please give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. Also, on this channel, we do missing 411 type of cases. We do unsolved crimes, murders. Shh, don't say that out loud or I won't get monetized. We do paranormal things. As a matter of fact,
Spooky.
I have a video coming up where I'm going to talk about the Sasquatch documentary that is showing on Hulu right now. For those of you who do not have Hulu and do not care to pay for it, that's why you have me. I'm going to tell you all about it, and I can't wait. Actually, it's a crazy kind of ride. So, if you would like to subscribe, please do so. And anything else I didn't say, Rob?
Um, I think you covered everything. Everything. Oh, just one thing to add.
Uh-huh.
People who are new and people who are not new. Um, I, on Sunday, I'm going to go to the Jamaica Inn
Are you
and with
really?
with my girls, and I'm going to have a drink, and I'm going to take some photographs, and I'm going to do a podcast about it.
Rob, I'm so excited.
Yeah, because hopefully it's going to be open now, so we'll um, be able to sit outside. But I was just going to ask them if I could just nip in and take a few photographs because the way it works at the moment here for bars, you can bars can be open, but you've got to sit outside.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm going to I promised the girls. Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I am looking forward to that as well.
Spooky.
Well, that's funny you say that because this Sunday, my husband and I have planned to go to some haunted places near us and take some photos and do a video about it. So if it's not pouring down rain, it's been raining a lot, but that's exciting. I can't wait, really. Rob. Now that everybody's getting vaccinated and whatnot, and things are becoming a little freer, we're going to be able to start raising money to go on our East Coast magical haunted tour.
Mm.
So we're going to be able to get back into doing that. I mean, we don't have to. It's going to take a minute to raise the money. And
Yeah.
then what Rob and I are going to do is we're going to rent an RV and we're going to go through all the haunted places in like the New England area. My voice, excuse my voice for cracking. Like I'm hitting puberty. I don't know what is going on. But anyway, so we're gonna go to all the haunted areas and we're gonna film it so that you guys don't have to. We're gonna take one for the team. Isn't that nice of us?
Yeah.
And so we'll be able to start raising money for that again, Rob.
Mm.
So excited. Okay. Anyway, what are we doing our podcast on today?
We're doing our podcast on today. Famous people who have died and where they are buried, because we did a similar one to this a
Mm-hmm.
while back, and it was really popular. So
Yeah, people liked
we're
it.
doing a little bit more today.
Yes, I like this, and it gives you the exact location where they're buried. It doesn't say like they're buried in Massachusetts. It gives you the exact go into this cemetery, take a left, take a right, two spots down from the whatever. There you are. So it's very exact. So if you hear somebody that is near you or is going to be somewhere where you guys are going on a trip this summer, if you're going to be out and about, please still wear your masks, and then you can go visit these graves. So I think this is fun in a peculiar way.
And by the way, we do not endorse in any way people digging up famous people. By the way,
Well, if you're going to, let me know ahead of time. Well, I might meet you there. I'm not saying I'm against it. I don't know.
oh dear
So
me,
Rob, I'm gonna get
Chaser.
started, and I'm gonna do. Let me decide what I'm gonna do because I have one that um kind of excited about doing, but let me see. Hold on. You guys. I have these pages dog-eared, and I want to like. Okay, here's what I want to do. I want to do Ray Kroc. Do you know who Ray Kroc is, Rob?
Never heard of him.
Okay, well, you're gonna like this then, because you actually have, sort of, in a sort of way. Ray Kroc was born on October 5th, 1902. That is, I think my grandmother was born in 1902. And he died January 14th, 1984, which was a good year. The 80s, anything in the 80s, I can barely remember. Okay. After a 17-year career selling cups to restaurants in the Midwest, high school dropout, Ray Kroc felt that it was time to get out on his own. So he became the exclusive sales agent for a 5-spindle multi-mixer. What is that? I don't know. In 1953, Dick and Mac McDonald's fast food emporium in San Bernardino, California, bought 8 of the mixing machines from Ray, and his curiosity was piqued. Ray later explained, I had to see what kind of an operation was making 40 milkshakes at a time. When Ray went to see the restaurant the next year, He was entranced by the efficiency of the operation. There was only a very limited, low-priced menu, and though it was a hamburger restaurant, it was not of the popular drive-in variety. People had to get out of their cars to be served. And look at us
Mm.
now. Now we're like, can you bring it to my door and drop it off? Contactless, contactless, back away. Um, so, a dyed-in-the-wool capitalist, Ray started dreaming about additional McDonald's stores, each equipped with the 8 multi-mixers, churning up a steady stream of cash. And now you can't even go to McDonald's and have the shake machine be working. The following day, he pitched the idea of opening several restaurants to the brothers, and when asked, who could we get to open them for us? Ray was ready. Well, what about me? Eventually, a deal was struck whereby Ray gave the McDonald's a small percentage of the gross, and in 1955, he opened his first McDonald's restaurant in Des Plaines, Illinois. Business proved excellent, and by the time Ray bought the brothers out in 1961 for a paltry $2.7 million, there were already 273 locations. Holy shite. I wonder how many McDonald's there are in America. I think we read somewhere that you literally can't go more than 5 miles without running into McDonald's.
How many in the world?
Yeah. And do you know, you maybe don't, do you know this? Do you know that not all McDonald's serve the exact same thing? Some McDonald's serve things that are regional. And
Yeah,
like, you can get things at McDonald's that we can't, vice versa.
I think in Japan you can get sushi at McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah, I think I might have made that up, but I'm sure I've heard it somewhere.
Hmm. Well, in Hawaii, at McDonald's, you get fresh, right off the pineapple with everything you order at McDonald's, which I found out the hard way because I'm allergic to pineapple. And even though we had them take it off the tray, I accidentally touched where it was and ended up being not so happy about that. But that is lovely, the lovely, lovely thing that they do. My husband loved it. Me being allergic. Anyway, um, so um, so when by the time he bought it, he was free to run the business his own way. He didn't really change the fundamental format, but it had some of his own wrinkles. First, the parking lot to the kitchen floor, from the parking lot to the kitchen floor to the bathrooms, everything was clean. Next, he applied team techniques to the food preparation. New restaurants were located in swiftly growing populated areas, while family visits to the local McDonald's became something of a tribal ritual.
Yeah,
Finally, millions of dollars were poured into advertising. Anyway, so there you go. Ray Kroc, owner of McDonald's, this is where he's buried. He is buried at the El Camino Memorial Park in La Jolla, California. From I 805, take the Mira Mesa Boulevard exit. Follow it for a quarter of a mile east to the Scranton Road. Turn right, and the road will shortly turn into Carroll Canyon Road. The park is ahead 1 mile on the left. Enter the cemetery, turn at the first left, and go all the way up the hill. I'm telling you, this is precise. If you guys are out, get your pen and pencils, pen and paper. I don't know. Turn left at the T. Follow this drive all the way to its end and park at the loop. Walk toward the 3 big bells. Oh my God. Turn into the mausoleum on the right. I hope we get a treasure at the end of this.
and look for the big yellow M.
There's your Happy Meal. Proceed all the way through the mausoleum, exit to the rear door, and once you're back outside, this feels like they're effing with us. Turn right and look up to see Ray's crypt. So there you go. If you guys are in La Jolla, California, go or planning on being, go check out Ray Kroc's crypt. Do you know that crypts leak? Rob,
What? Sorry?
do you know that crypts leak?
Crips week?
Leak.
Leak?
Leak.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Leak bodily fluids. When the body turns to fluid, the
Yeah.
crypt can leak
Oh,
all down
right.
the front.
Okay. Yeah, now I understand what you mean.
If I'm ever going to be in any row of a crypt, it's going to be the top row. I don't want some guy dripping down on me. Gross.
Keep your
Anyway,
juices to yourself.
keep your juices to yourself. Don't slide here. Don't slide in here on your bodily fluids. Yuck. All right, Rob. Who are you gonna do?
Right. I'm going to start somebody I can't stand. And, right, Christopher Wallace, better known as Notorious B.I.G. May the 21st, 1972 was the year he was born, and March the 9th, 1997, was the year he died. Gangster rapper Notorious B.I.G., aka Biggie Smalls, was born Christopher Wallace and grew up in New York's turbulent Bedford district. After an I can't say that word, obligatory stint as a drug dealer and some jail time, B.I.G. was signed by Puffy Bad Boy record label. Oh, I can't stand him. But anyway,
You can't stand Puffy?
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyway,
So wait, can I just ask you? So you're West Coast or East Coast?
West Coast.
West Coast? West
If you
Side?
like, you don't like gangster rap. If you like gangster rap, you're either a Biggie fan or a Tupac. Tupac was West Coast, California, but the East Coast was New York and all that malarkey.
Mm-hmm.
And you're either one side or the other.
Right.
Never a side will cross. But anyway,
Right.
I'm a really, really big Tupac fan. I do really like Tupac.
Yes.
So anyway, he was trying to
I
Puffy
think
Bad
last
Boy.
time we did where Tupac is buried. Because I
Yeah,
have it right here.
yeah. Ready to Die was his debut album, and it won Billboard Rapper of the Year award, and basked in all of the perks that accompanied rap stardom. B.I.G.'s ascension to stardom took place similar at the same time with two. I can't say that word. I'm sorry, but there you go.
Simultaneously?
That's the word that I can't say. At the
All
same
right.
time as Tupac, and a feud developed between the two, despite the fact that they'd once been close associates. Tupac suspected B.I.G. was behind the 1994 robbery that left him with 5 bullet holes because B.I.G. was from the East Coast and Tupac was from the West Coast.
That's something I don't think you can be forgiven for. 5 bullet holes. 4.
No.
5. Nope.
So, but he did live.
Yeah, he did.
So Tupac lived, which caused no. He really he released a record called "Hit 'Em Up." Now I can't even tell you how it starts because we're never getting monetized for this. But if you've not heard it, a diss record, if you like them kind of things, look up Tupac, "Hit 'Em Up." it will certainly enlighten you.
It's a disc. It's a disc.
This
It's
record,
a disc record. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, really?
So anyway, Two Problems on the West Coast. Many viewed as a ridiculous animosity developed between their opposing camps over turf record sales. Finally, Tupac claimed to have slept with B.I.G.'s wife, who's Faith Evans.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
On March, that's how the record starts.
Oh really?
I effed your bitch.
Oh yes. Oh, that's one of your favorite songs.
I effed your bitch, you fat
Okay, I
motherfucker.
want money. I want money. I want money.
So
Yes,
that's how the record. That's the first line of the record. So, and it gets worse. So you can
that's
sort of
one of
see
your
where it's going.
favorite songs.
Yeah.
That is so funny. Well, okay.
And it claimed to have slept with B.I.G.'s wife and even bragged about it in the song.
Hmm.
On the 9th of March, 1997, just 6 months after Tupac's murder, B.I.G. was gunned down in an eerie, similar scene in Los Angeles after the Soul Train Awards. An unidentified assailant shot him to death as he sat in the passenger side of a vehicle stopped at a red light. The B.I.G. murder remains unsolved as well. He was cremated and his ashes divided among three people: his mum,
Oh,
his wife, and his girlfriend.
oh, are you
Uh,
serious about that?
and his wife, his mum, his wife, and his girlfriend. And then in brackets it says, "Don't ask." There you go.
Oh, well, that's interesting. All right, where's his? Where's his? Oh, so he wasn't spread anything or anywhere.
No,
Can't go visit him.
can't go visit him. But you
Okay.
can listen. You can listen to Tupac talking about him.
Yeah. Okay. Who am I gonna do, Rob? I have all these all these pages dog-eared, and when I go through, I'm like, was I sleeping when I did this? I don't remember wanting to do this. I don't know, but I will do this because I know this will make Rob happy.
Okay,
I'm gonna do Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders, was he real?
Well, he was a real person, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. His name was, first off, he was born on September 9th, 1890, and he died December 16th, 1980. 1890 and 1980. Oh, what the? Wow, he lived a good long life, didn't he? Harland Sanders grew up in the backwoods of southern Indiana and learned to cook while still a child. His father had died before Harland was 3 years old, and by the time he was 6, it was his responsibility to prepare the meals while his mother worked. I can't get my kid to sweep the floor. After the 6th grade, he dropped out of school to supplement the family's meager income, and from his first job, he brought home the bacon to the tune of $2 a week, which must have been kind of a big deal, right, in the 1800s.
I don't know.
By the age of 12, he left home to live and work on a farm, and from there he was able to provide for his family with more substantial amount of money. At 16 years old, Harland volunteered for a 1-year stint in the army during America's intervention in Cuba. Intervention. I like that. During our intervention in Cuba. Um, During his adult years, Harland toiled as a streetcar conductor, an insurance agent, a tire salesman, and a railroad fireman. He operated the Ohio River Steamboat Ferry. After a law correspondence course, he practiced as a justice of the peace, but it was his fate to be the owner of a service station in Corbin, Kentucky. To augment the station's sparse gas receipts, Harlan began cooking for the hungry travelers. He didn't actually have a
Oh,
restaurant, so he served folks in his family's dining room. When more people began dropping by for the food than the gasoline, he knew he was onto something. In 1930, he bought the motel across the street and converted it into a 142-seat restaurant called Sanders Court. Over the next decade, Harlan perfected his secret recipe of 11
recipe.
herbs and spices. Was that very American?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. His secret recipe of 11 herbs and spices used in the preparation of his Kentucky Fried
Fried
Chicken.
chicken. Yay.
Yay, and his Sanders Court restaurant became known for having the best food and especially the best chicken for miles around. Business boomed, and the governor even named Harlan an honorary Kentucky colonel to recognize his contributions to the state's cuisine.
Mm.
Ah, Kentucky Fried Chicken. I love it.
Yeah, I do as well.
I love it. I love the fake potatoes and the gravy. I I made the mistake. Okay, on Twitter, sometimes people like quit their jobs and then they tell you secrets about the restaurant, which I wish they wouldn't do, frankly, because ignorance is occasionally bliss. And one thing that is blissful is not knowing how they make the gravy for the Kentucky Fried Chicken, because it's frankly it's delicious. But now that I know how it's made, I'm going to spare you guys. I'm going to
Okay.
spare you.
You have to tell me
But
after the podcast because
I will. Do you guys have the gravy there?
you can order gravy. I never order it, to be honest.
Keisha must.
Keisha probably will, yeah.
Mm.
Keisha.
Yeah. Keisha, my gravy eater. Anyway, so let me continue on here. When I was growing up, if we went out to someplace special, this is how poor I was. If we went out someplace special to eat, it would be Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Mm.
So, okay, living on $105 monthly Social Security check. Wait, where am I? In the 1950s, though, a new interstate highway was built by passing Corbin, so business dried up, and the value of his property plummeted. At 65 years old, the dejected colonel auctioned everything off, and after paying the bills, he found himself penniless and reduced to living on $105 monthly Social Security check. But remarkably, in the twilight of his life, Harlan decided that instead of sitting in a rocking chair feeling sorry for himself while waiting for the government checks, he started anew. The colonel and his wife Claudia hit the road, traveling around the country by car. They visited roadside eateries and cooked batches of chicken for the restaurant owners and their employees. If the reaction to the chicken was favorable, the colonel entered into a handshake agreement that stipulated a payment to him of a nickel for each piece of chicken the restaurant sold. By 1964, when he sold his interest in the company for $2 million, the colonel had more than 600 franchised outlets for his chicken. He stayed on with the new Kentucky Fried Chicken Corporation as its spokesman for the next decade. But in 1975, the relationship strained when he publicly denounced some of KFC's fare, especially its gravy. Oh no! Which he derided as sludge with a wallpaper taste. Nonetheless, he is a speculated character today, watches over each and every one of the 6 million people who eat in one of KFC's 12,000 restaurants every day. He died of leukemia at the age of 90 and was buried at Cave Hill Cemetery in Louisville, Kentucky. Here's how you get there. Take exit 16 off of I-264, follow Bardstow Road north for 3 3/4 miles, and you'll see the cemetery on the right at the Broadway Street intersection. Enter the cemetery and follow the solid line pointed in the middle of the road. At the end of the line, the Sanders plot is on your right. Also nearby is the Kentucky Fried Chicken Visitor Center. which houses a museum of memorabilia telling the story of the Colonel's life. It's quite interesting and well worth a visit. So, there you go. Colonel Sanders, Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Chicken.
Well, thank you.
Lay a little leg for me.
So, who are you doing? Can you hold on 2 seconds? I think I have my earbuds in wrong. Hold on. Just start talking.
Well, my next one is another singer, Aaliyah Horton.
Mm-hmm.
January 1997. January the 16th, 1979. I'm sorry, through August the 25th, 2001. She was a baby when she died.
How old was she?
I don't know,
Say it again.
but 79 till 2001.
Oh, yeah.
18. She's 21 in it.
18, 19,
22.
90. Yeah. Yeah.
Age 21. He says it was one. Sorry, guys. 21 years old.
Mm.
I really liked Aaliyah.
Yes.
In her short life, Aaliyah Horton, simply known as Aaliyah, lived a modern fairy tale of stardom. The sultry and ethereal-voiced R&B singer hit the music scene young. At just 11 years old, she performed on Star Search with soul legend Gladys Knight.
Wow.
By the age of 14, Aaliyah had earned a record contract. The next year, her debut album was platinum. During her senior years in high school, Aaliyah released a second album. Released a second album which was nominated for an Academy Award for her. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I've got really, really bad indigestion. Award for her performance of the song "Journey to the Past" from the soundtrack of the animated movie Anastasia. Movie deals and acting roles came next. In a quick succession, Aaliyah co-starred in Romeo Must Die, gathered a starring role in the supernatural adventure film Queen of the Damned, and won coveted roles in 2 sequels to The Matrix.
Oh,
There
really?
should have, but yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't realise.
Yeah.
I know that Queen of the Damned was the next. It was supposed to be Interview with a Vampire. It's supposed to be the follow-on, wasn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they didn't. Tom Cruise wasn't in it.
Uh-uh.
They had someone else playing Tom Cruise, and
Lestat.
That's
That's his name. Yeah.
And I didn't think much of it.
I didn't like it at all. The book was much better, actually, but
I can imagine the book would have been better, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't. I mean, I watched the film, and I have watched the film mostly because she was in it more so than anything else. If I'm being completely honest, sorry.
Was there a plot? Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. No, I don't know. Can't remember. Anyway, drag it back for the. We're nearly going over the edge again. Drag it back. We'll be talking about necrophilia next. No, that's I should have said that. Especially talking about a dead person.
Exactly, Rob.
Oh no. There should have been more chapters to this story, but it ended abruptly instead. While in the Bahamas shooting a music video, Aaliyah and her entourage were on board a small charter airplane that crashed immediately after takeoff, killing all 9 people aboard. It was later learned that the pilot did not have clearance to fly that particular airplane, just 12 days earlier, had been in a court on cocaine charges. At the age of 21, Aaliyah was buried at Ferncliff Mausoleum in Hartsdale, New York. I can only give you some of the directions because I haven't got them all here. Let me have a look. No, I can't. Cemetery directions.
Why don't you have them all there?
Because the picture of the page cuts it off at the bottom.
Well, do you want me to give it?
Hang on, I don't know. Hang on. From 187, take exit 7 in Ardsley and follow route. Oh, hang on, it's come on now. And follow route 98 north for 1.25 miles. Then at the traffic lights, turn right onto Secker Road. Ferncliff is a short distance on the left. That's where you'll find the young lady.
Interesting.
Very sad. Because
Yeah.
Lisa Left Eye Lopez died very similar.
Yes.
She was
And
in
a Jeep crash, right?
Was it a
hers
Jeep
was a plane crash?
I thought it was a plane
I thought
crash.
hers was a Jeep.
Oh well, I don't. Because they died at quite close together, didn't they?
Yes. Okay, I'm going to do this next one. It's not a person.
Pardon?
It's not a person.
Not a person.
It's not a person.
What is it then?
It's a dog.
A dog. Not Lassie.
No, but you're not going to know who this dog is because you are the only person on the planet who's never seen this movie. Which is sad. I'm sorry about that for you. Toto. Yes. Toto. He was born in 1932 and died in 1945. He wasn't that old. Contrary to popular belief, the little Cairn Terrier who played Toto in The Wizard of Oz was not named Toto until Oz became so popular that almost everyone forgot what her original name was. Like all of the other cast members, she had a character name, Toto, and a real name, Terry. She may have been the best player on the set, too, because without even the benefit of makeup or a costume, Terry the girl dog played Toto the boy dog. Terry's owner and trainer, a guy named Carl Spitz, who ran the Hollywood Dog Training School, adopted her in 1933, but had no plans for little Terry to become a movie star. Her original owner had left her to be trained, but never returned to pick her up. Aww. Later, when the casting director put out a call for a dog that looked like the one in the illustrations in The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, Carl knew right away that they needed a Cairn Terrier. So he bought Terry to the studio. Terry was hired on the spot, and she immediately began living the high life, which meant 2 weeks at Judy Garland's house and a $125 a week salary. You gotta be kidding me.
Who gets that money?
I guess him, the owner.
Ridiculous. How ridiculous.
Yeah. Think about how much money that was back then.
Oh.
Anyway, but life in the spotlight wasn't always glamorous. Terry didn't like being in the basket. She cowered when the set's wind machines were switched on, and she suffered a sprained foot after being stepped on accidentally by one of the witch's guards. But Terry recuperated.
Oh.
I mean, she BITCH made $125 a week. Live with it, girl. She recuperated and she returned a few weeks later to film the Munchkinland scenes as good as new. After Oz, Terry's name was officially changed to Toto, and she appeared in another half a dozen films. In 1944, Toto died at 13 years old, which is 91 in dog years, and was buried somewhere in Carl's backyard, somewhere in Hollywood, California. No, I like that one.
Hmm.
Well, now we have to find Carl's backyard. How are we supposed to do that? What do you have next?
Andre the Giant. May 9th. He was born on May 19th in 1946, and he died in January on January the 27th, 1993. Andre René Rouchamoff or something ridiculous, of French heritage and better known
Oh,
as Andre the Giant, was a professional wrestler afflicted with a genetic disorder resulting in gigantism. In, in 1973, he made his American debut at Madison Square Garden and proving fantastically successful wrestlers more than 300 days a year. Hang on, sorry, I've tripped myself up here. Providing fantastic success, becoming one of the world's most famous and professional athletes. Though he was advertised as 7 feet 4 inches, he was probably just under 7 feet and tipped the scales at 500 pounds.
how tall was he?
Andre, he he told people he was 7 foot 4 inches,
Hmm.
but he said probably just under 7 foot. He's still
Oh,
big.
yeah.
He tipped the scales at 500 pounds. I don't know if that's heavy. Well, presuming that's really heavy, but we do ours in stone, so I don't know what that is in stone. Um, Andre's immense appetite for food and alcohol were legendary, and well, we've got something in common here. And it is estimated he consumes 7,000 calories a day in alcohol alone.
Whoa,
That's,
whoa.
that sounds like my kind of guy. That's the guy you want to go out with.
Oh my gosh. Holy cow.
Get the beers in, Andre. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
He must have been English. He must have. I'm saying he went French heritage. I'm sure that must be English. Maybe it's a Mancunian heritage.
Is that what they call somebody who's from Manchester?
Mancunian, yeah, Mancunian.
Mancunian. Huh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Mancunian. We see we things are slightly different in the UK than they are in America
Uh-huh. Yeah.
because I don't know whether it's just the films that get. There doesn't seem to be like a drinking culture so much in America than there is, um, in the UK. I
Yeah.
mean, in America, there seems to be more they don't have pubs as such like us, so with like kids play areas. That is completely off the wall for Americas, and
Yes.
it's more of a special occasion thing in America. I mean, we have a beer if we're opening a door, let alone anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We don't have what take as much to celebrate. To celebrate. Yeah. But anyway, in 1987 he played Fezzik the gentle giant in the movie The Princess Bride, a
Mm-hmm.
role for which he was suited in both dimension and disposition, and it
Mm-hmm.
remained one of his most cherished achievements. He carried a video of the film with him when he travelled and held frequent screenings.
Wow.
Unfortunately, as he grew older, his size caused him frequent health problems, and he became increasingly overweight and immobile. We have got a lot in common. At 46, Andre died. 46.
46.
Andre died of a heart attack and was cremated. His ashes were scattered at his horse ranch in Ellaby, North Carolina.
Huh.
Oh, Carolina.
46.
46, 40. He was he
How
born in
how
19. He was born in 1946 and he died at 46.
oh wow. He was born a year before my mother. Hmm. Um well, there's another one we can't go visit. We have to go into
Yeah,
his backyard. Okay, I'm gonna do you know who Leonard Skinner is?
I certainly do.
Okay. Or what Leonard Skinner is, I should say.
He was
Um
music guy, wasn't it?
well, the band was called Leonard Skinner. It was made up of several people.
Hmm.
Um in here it says it was pronounced Leonard Skinner, but I've never heard anybody say anything but Leonard Skinner, so maybe it's an accent. I mean, I suppose I knew how to pronounce their own name. Okay, so I watched a documentary on Leonard Skinner, and most of the band died in a airplane crash, which you can still go to today, although they've never officially told where the plane crash is, but the a lot of the locals will tell you. You can still go there, and I'm not even kidding. I see uh, YouTube videos. I can't believe I just did that. I'm making a YouTube video, and I couldn't remember the word YouTube. Um, I'm telling you, COVID brain. Um, so I see YouTube videos where people go and they take metal detectors and find stuff from the airplane to this day, and
Uh,
like unopened beer cans and keys and I mean anyway, the documentary, if you guys get a chance to watch it, I believe it's on Netflix. Yeah, it is. And there my voice cracked again. Watch it. It's really interesting, even if you didn't like the band, which I don't know how you, the band's songs are so ingrained in Americana now, I think, that you can't even be an American and not have heard and know what a Leonard Skinner song is. But um, anyway, and all their songs were written by them and Ronnie Van Zandt, who was a musical genius and would literally walk out to and they had this little cabin that wasn't even a cabin, it was just like a shed on this property, and they would do all their practicing out there from the time they were in high school up. No matter how big they got, they would still go out to this shed, and it had a dock, and he would go out to the end of the dock, sit out there for anywhere from 15 minutes to a few hours, come back and have a song that we all still know and can sing word by word to this day. It was just he's a genius. Anyway, so I'm going to talk a little bit about Leonard Skinner and the one, two, three, four, five, six people who died in that plane crash. Also, they obviously the pilot, and the weird thing about the plane crash that I don't know if it's going to be in here or not, but the plane was having some technical difficulties in the engine. It sounded funny, and a lot of the band members didn't want to fly on the airplane, and a lot of like the group, they were like, then it doesn't sound, and they said they could go get it fixed. but they'd have to drive to the next location. And uh, Ronnie Van Zandt put his foot down and said, "We're getting on this plane. You either
No,
go with me or you don't go."
won't go then.
Yeah, and he said he got on as he was getting on the plane. He said, "And I'm ready to die today,"
Oh, that's okay then.
which was yeah. Then you feel free, which was really ironic. And they said with the survivor of the airplane crash said that they knew they were having engine that the engine was effing up, and that everybody on the plane was completely quiet. That Ronnie Van Zant walked up to the front of the airplane and stood in front of everybody and said, "Don't worry, you know, we're gonna be fine, or no matter how this works out, just stay calm." And stood there and walked down the aisle and literally touched every single person on their shoulder as he walked down the aisle. Went back to the back of the plane, stood at the back of the plane, and the plane crashed and everybody died. Almost everybody. But it was the survivor said it was extraordinarily calm, that everybody came to the conclusion, and accepted within the course of a couple of minutes that this was it. This is how they go. And there was no screaming, no crying, no praying, just Ronnie standing up there and touching everybody on the shoulder. Like, wow,
That's a bit
crazy.
effed up.
Yeah, crazy. Um, which is weird because I saw a video of a plane that they thought was going to crash again on YouTube the other day, and as it was going down before the pilot pulled it out, nobody was crying or anything. They were all very calm, which is not how I feel like I would react. In the summer of 1964, Ronnie Van Zant and four friends formed a band called the Noble Five, and that December they played their first paying gig at an auto parts store for their Christmas party. At the end of the night, they were handed a single crisp $10 bill. After chipping in for gasoline, they started home with $1.75 each. With nowhere to go but up, the bandmates practiced incessantly. Their band's name evolved into the peculiar Leonard Skinner, a play on the name of a gym teacher that they'd had, whose name was Leonard Skinner, whom they particularly disliked for his dutiful enforcement of the school dress code prohibiting sideburns and long hair. By 1973, the Southern style rebel rock band gained a tremendous following throughout Florida. They landed a deal with MCI Records and saw their debut album, pronounced Leonard Skinner, let's forget about that, released. After that, they were tapped to be the opening for the Who's U.S. tour later that year, and they never looked back. Um, they sang um, Give Me Three Steps, which I actually have on my playlist, Sweet Home Alabama, which um, everybody everybody knows that song by heart. Saturday Night Special, to name a few. Um, they sang the song that my at the time best friend Doug had played at his funeral. Um, Anyway, in Greenville, South Carolina, after the fourth concert of a planned 80 concert tour, the band and its 12-person entourage boarded their leased Conair 240. You're right, it wasn't the only people that lived. Sorry, I meant from the band, the actual band. And headed for their next gig in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 6:42 p.m. on October 20th, 1977. The pilot radioed from 6,000 feet over Macomb, Mississippi, that his craft was dangerously low on fuel. Less than 10 minutes later, the plane clipped the branches over a swamp and then cut an 800-foot swath through the trees until it lurched to a halt within the dense thicket. Because the plane had ran out of fuel, it did not burst into flames, and 18 people emerged from the wreckage with assorted injuries. Some more serious than the others. Not everyone survived, however, and among those killed were his new guitarist, Stevie Gaines, his sister, Cassie Gaines, as well as the frontman and founder, Ronnie Van Zandt, without whom the real Leonard Skinner band would cease to exist. Who else could ever justify his introduction of the song Free Bird, which is the song that was played at my friend's funeral? What song is it to you? What song is it you want to hear? Is how that song starts. At 29, Ronnie was laid to rest wearing his trademark black Texas Hatter's cowboy hat. His favorite fishing pole was placed inside his coffin. And though Steve, 28, and Cass, 29, were from Oklahoma, they were buried alongside Ronnie at the Jacksonville Memorial Gardens in Florida. In 1991, someone defaced their graves, and shortly thereafter, they were exhumed and moved to a location that is unknown or that I will not disclose. On the 10th anniversary of the plane crash, most of the surviving original members of the Leonard Skinner reunited for a tribute tour, which lead vocals were provided by Ronnie's younger brother, Johnny Van Zandt. Besides those killed in the crash, a former band member glaringly absent from the lineup was Alan Collins, who had been the original incarnation of the Noble Five and had distinguished himself as the band's lead guitarist. But Alan had also been one of the band's most notorious substance abusers, both before and after the plane crash. And in 1986, he lost control of his car while driving under the influence of alcohol. The ensuing crash killed his girlfriend and left him paralyzed from the waist down, with only limited use of his upper body and arms. Allen later pleaded no contest to a DUI and manslaughter. Part of his sentence required that as a celebrity, he make public service announcements warning others of the consequence of drunk driving. Allen served as musical director during the 1987 tribute tour, but remained wheelchair-bound on the sidelines while his band took center stage. Before each concert, Allen would be rolled up on the microphone to explain to his fans that he couldn't go on playing guitar because on another night long ago, he had chosen to drive drunk. As a result of decreased lung capacity from his paralysis, Allen developed pneumonia and he died at the age of 37. Alan Collins was buried at Riverside Memorial Gardens in Jacksonville, Florida. The way to get there is I-295, take exit 7 onto Normandy Boulevard, head east, and the cemetery is immediately to the left. Enter the cemetery and drive past the fountain. Stop after about 75 yards and you'll see on the left a cement walk leading into the Garden of the Cross. 80 feet down this walk is a stone bench inscribed Collins, John. John is the maiden name of Alan's wife, Kathy, who died in 1980 from complications after a pregnancy. Opposite the bench are the graves of both Alan and Kathy. They opened for Kiss once. And Kiss had their, tongue insignia out there on the stage. And Leonard Skinner was told that they don't walk out past that Kiss insignia. That only the members of Kiss, Rolling Stones, Rolling Stones. Sorry, people, sorry. Only the members of the Rolling Stones could walk out there and stand on that insignia. Nobody else. So, Ronnie Van Zandt gets on stage and proceeds to walk to the Rolling Stones insignia, stand on it, play on it, sing on it, and then walk past it. And the crowd went nuts. And the Rolling Stones never had them tour with them again. Anyway, there's some more about the band and stuff, but that's what I wanted to do for the main part.
Okay, very interesting.
Yeah, it's like I said, if you guys, I eat, breathe, and sleep documentaries. This is one of the best ones I've ever seen, and it's really touching and really. You're going to be so amazed by the amount of songs that you forgot that Leonard Skinner sang that are so woven into the fabric of what Americana is to this day, what every Honky Tonk Bar on This Planet plays um, in movie soundtracks, you're just going to be blown away and be like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that. Holy cow, they sang so many that you guys just, it's really amazing and touching, really. Okay. You're next. I think we're going to make this the last one if it's okay with you.
Yeah, this is quite a long one as well. Mr. Walt Disney.
Oh.
Born on December the 5th, 1901. He died on December the 15th, 1966.
Wait, he wasn't that old.
No, he wasn't actually. Well, he was 65.
65? No, it's not that old.
You're not considering the amount of stuff he must have crammed into his life.
Yeah, well, a couple years ago we went to Kansas City, which for those of you that don't know, Kansas City is split down the middle, parts in Mississippi, Missouri. Sorry, Kansas City, Missouri. The other parts in Kansas, and in the Kansas part is the very first Disney studio. It's in a seedy neighborhood. It has some old time Disney drawings on the side, and it has Walt Disney's house there in the city neighborhood. In fact, I have a picture of Walt Disney's old house. It's in the not, like I said, the neighborhood has gone way down. You can see that it used to be like a upper middle class neighborhood, but it's gone way, way, way down. And I took a picture of the house, and in the front yard, there is a dog taking a shite that I hadn't noticed when I was taking a picture. So I titled it, "No, That's Not Pluto." Yeah, it was very interesting to see that, be that close to where Walt Disney had grown up, and his very first studio was tiny, tiny little brick thing. Anyway, sorry, I've been there.
I'm in there.
I've been there.
Right. From his fertile imagination and factory of drawing boards, Walt Disney, himself only a mediocre artist, turned animation into an art form, and in Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck fashioned the most popular stars ever to come out of Hollywood. His film company became the provider of family entertainment, and from the base that Walt built, Disney Studios have grown into the most successful film company in the world. Waltz first scored big in 1928 when had a long time associate. He and a long time associate, Ube Erwicks, developed Mickey Mouse. The first two Mickey shorts were silent, and then for the third were features which featured sound. Walt himself provided Mickey's squeaky voice.
Hi, I'm Mickey.
Thanks for that.
Okay.
The Three Little Pigs he was to first gamble on Technicolor expensive new three colour system. After testing animation appeal in full length format with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, he quickly followed with Pinocchio, Dumbo, and Bambi. Every film required the creation of new, lovable, and unsophisticated cartoon characters, and Walt created nearly all of them. In the 50s, let me just move this down. Excuse me. In the 50s, Walt diversified from animation and produced live action films like Treasure Island and Old Yeller. What that is. Later,
you don't know what Old Yeller is?
I have no clue.
Oh God, no, Rob. Well, first off, Old Yeller is a book that they made into a movie. And what was the other movie you said?
Treasure Island.
Yes, which of course is also a book that they made into a movie. Robert Louis Stevenson, I think, wrote Treasure Island. But Old Yeller is about this kid and his dogs. And it is hands down one of the saddest, most touching books or movie, I guess you want to go that route, that you will ever read or watch. It's for children, which is crazy. Uh, it's Rob, you should seriously read this book. I think we had to read it in like the third grade or something, and it like the trauma. Yeah, I think my kids read it in the third grade too.
I'll have
It's
to see if I can get a
so
copy of
good.
it for the girls.
Oh, really, really do. Really, I mean,
Keisha
I
might
think
like
Keisha would
it.
love it. Oh, I think Keisha would love it. Really, I do. I think I have books that I love so much that I read to my kids. Because for those of you who don't know, my kids were mostly, for the most part, homeschooled, and so when it would come to literature, I always do classic literature, and read the books that I loved. I would read to them because I wanted to take part, or read along. You know, we'd all read some, and Old Yeller is one of those, and it is heartbreaking. It is so good. You'll never forget it.
Okay.
Completely unlike this channel, by the way. Very wholesome, very not necrophilia, very family oriented. Yeah. There's just a sliver of my heart where that kind of stuff can go into a tiny piece of the puzzle.
Okay. Later, his visionary and wildly successful amusement parks perpetuated the Disney magic. In November 1966, Walt's cancer-ridden left lung was removed, but
Oh,
within a month, at 65, he succumbed to disease. He succumbed to the disease anyway. Walt rarely attended funerals, and no announcement was made for his own, which was attended only by relatives. The
mm,
secret, the secrecy intended a rumour that Walt, instead of being buried, was encased in a deep freeze cryonic vault to await a cure for his lung cancer, at which time he'd be thawed and resume living. But such stories are pure fantasy. Walt was cremated and his ashes interred at the ground temperature at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California.
one of my other best friends, the one that I told you that passed away at Crater Lake, she is
Mm.
also buried there
Oh.
at Forest Lawn.
Well, cemetery directions from Highway 2 take the San Fernando Road exit and turn northwest. After a mile, make a right onto Glendale Avenue, and the park's entrance is immediately on your right. Stop at the booth for a map of the cemetery roads and then drive to Freedom Mausoleum. Walt's plot is in the garden just to the left of the Freedom Mausoleum's main entrance. His marker, you'll see, is quite cleverly positioned and visible only when you're standing on the mausoleum front steps.
Hmm.
It's quite sad.
Hmm.
And just on a, I know you used to joke about me watching Ghost Adventures, but they have actually done an investigation of one of the the Walt Disney parks, whatever they're called, and they have got footage of this man He's obviously a ghost walking around the venue.
I've seen it.
It's rumored to be Walt himself.
I've seen that, but I didn't know it was their footage.
Yeah, I think so.
A long time ago, Jory and I did a podcast about the dark secrets of Disney, and how a lot of people think that it's haunted, and
I think we did. I did it with you, didn't I?
maybe it was you.
I'm sure it was.
You know what? It could have been you. I don't know. It could have been you. Yeah, and one of those was that video of that
Apparition.
man. Yeah, whatever it was, and it's very clear. Interesting. I love Disneyland.
That's it, Disneyland. I couldn't think what they were called.
Disneyland and Disney World.
Disney World. You said that my kids would like it there.
Oh, heaven's sakes. Yeah. They would. You really need to come here. I would love to take your kids to Disneyland. I would love that. My husband and I have gone to Disneyland without our kids, and it's enjoyable that way too. It's really great when you have little kids. Now, before you guys send me hate mail, we took my kids, and then like 2 months later we went by ourselves. So they did go. Okay, they've been plenty of times. No need to feel sorry for them. But it is also great to go as an adult, and you can skip the teacups and whatnot. Um, it's great no matter how old you are as a kid, whether you're 1 or 99. That's the other sliver of my heart. See, maybe it's just big enough you can cram Old Jiller and Disneyland into that. Probably a little shiny spot. Yeah, you would love it, Rob. Seriously, you would love it.
Mm-hmm.
It is magical.
Maybe one day.
Well, I come over there and we can go to the one in France.
Must be very expensive. Born in France.
Well, the one here is very expensive as well. I mean, it's expensive. But we lived in Arizona, and it was a 5-hour drive, so I didn't have to fly. I didn't have to buy plane tickets or anything. But I'll take you. Okay, what we need to do is we've decided we're not going to the East Coast. Raise money for me to go take Rob and his children to Disneyland in France, or to come here. Either way, that'd be awesome. We can take an RV. We can still do that.
Love
Remember, my husband goes, "How do you?" He says something like, "You go." A couple months ago, he said to you about something about how do you get there? You didn't understand the tunnel. The tunnel. He did. It wasn't like what?
Oh yeah, the Channel Tunnel.
Yeah, the tunnel. He was like, what? I don't. You go underwater? Duh. Well, I enjoyed this. There wasn't a whole lot of people we could actually go visit, though. Yeah, it was about 50-50, I suppose.
There was quite a few there.
Yeah. It was good.
It was
I
good.
liked this one.
I like the fact that we just did it off the cuff.
Yeah, me too. And that's what happened. For those of you who don't know, Rob and I were just talking, and I said, we need to do a podcast. Rob said, "Can you do it now?" And I said, "Yeah." So we did. Aren't you guys lucky?
Yeah, they're so lucky. Lucky.
For the record, if you go to my main page, if you're on a computer, if you go to my main page, in my title is a link to PayPal. If you guys are ever feeling generous and would like to help support this channel, because for the most part I don't get paid because of my content, being what my content is, I would really appreciate that. And I used to put the link down, but I took it out for a long time during COVID because the main massive part of COVID, because everybody was trying to just keep their head above water to function. But if you guys ever want to, that'd be greatly appreciated. Obviously, it's not needed. My lovely content is for free. It would just be appreciated. All right, Rob. Thank you for doing this with me today.
No problem.
And I'll be doing that Sasquatch video coming up pretty soon. It's interesting, I think, or I wouldn't do it. All right, hit that like button, share, subscribe if you'd like to, and thank you
Thank
to
you.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.